evening. The time is now 7 p.m. on Tuesday, the 25th. And this regular meeting of the El Campo Independent School Board is now called to order. Let the record show that this meeting was duly posted in accordance with section 551.043 of the Texas Government Code with regard to posting and posting of public meetings. There is a quorum of members present. At this time, Mr. Dubrock will lead us in prayer, and we'll have a pledge.
Let's pray. Lord, thank you for this chance to come together and to do the work of the school district. Help us to keep the people at the forefront of what we're doing, and to just make decisions that are based on the best interest of all those involved. We thank you for the chance to represent. We just ask that you lead us and guide us in all that we do. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, before we get to our first item on the agenda, which is recognition, which is always the best item, I do want to make some announcements. This is a busy time of year in the district with a lot of our clubs and organizations. One thing that we do, what's that? One thing that we do have coming up on Monday, May the 1st, is our meet and greet with the new athletic director and head coach, Travis Reed, who's here tonight. But don't think you can't meet him tonight. You gotta meet him. That'll be beginning at 4:30, ending around 6 o'clock, and that's at the Jackson Street Coffee and Market there in town. So please come out, take an opportunity to have a short conversation and welcome him to El Campo. So, I'm going to go down the list. I'm sure that we will have some things that I may have missed, but if you know, just we'll take all requests out here. May 4th is the Teacher Appreciation Banquet, which is sponsored by the Rotary Club. The Athletic Banquet is May the 10th. The Wharton County Youth Fair Scholarship Banquet is May the 10th. The El Campo chapter of the FFA, their banquet is May the 5th. Excuse me, May the 8th. May the 8th. Catholic Daughters of America is having their senior service on June 4th, 2023, and that's at St. Robert's. So those are the things that I have on my desk at my place here at this time. Did I miss anything?
Hispanic education.
The Hispanic Education Banquet, when is that? Breakfast, I'm sorry.
Well, no, the Hispanic Education Project is a banquet that will be held Thursday, May the 11th.
Thursday, May the 11th. So you could hit a banquet every night if that's your style. So please do that. Those are all great organizations and definitely deserve some attention. So thanks for doing that. That brings us to public comment. At every meeting, the board reserves time to hear public comment. Has there been anybody who signed up for public comment? There being none, we'll move to public testimony. Public testimony gives the community and public the ability to address things that are on the agenda, required, and a written notice is required. Did anybody meet the written notice? Okay, so we'll move on to recognition. Our recognition tonight, we're blessed to have lots of good folks to recognize. I will let the HOSA competition qualifiers be first.
I'm gonna steal Mr. Fleener's thunder since he is watching his own daughter receive recognition this evening at College Station. So Katie Kocher is here to recognize one of our amazing students who competed at state. So Katie, I'll let you introduce Tori and you can move forward.
Well, like you said, my name's Katie, and this was not the first year that HOSA competed in anything, but it was the first year we had anybody make it past round one. So it was so exciting. We had 4 students make it past round 1, which is a written test. So then we get to go and do skills testing. So at that point, that's area, and Tori finished first in the area, which then qualified her for state. So then it was like, oh my gosh, we're going to state, what do we do? What does that even mean? So it was really exciting. I got to learn with her. She actually qualified in home health aid, even though the class was certified nurse assisting. So the class that we teach in our high school is certified nurse assisting, but it's very similar to home health aid. She's so smart, she was able to just take the home health aid test and do well enough to move on. So then we bought the books and we studied home health aid. So we went to state. It was so much fun, and she ended up placing 5th in the entire state of Texas. And so we're talking the students, there was 3,500 students there, 56 different areas of competition. And so she finished 5th in the whole state. So we're really proud of her. And this is her, if you couldn't tell. And then she's not my daughter, even though
You gotta get your picture taken.
Oh, okay.
Katie, once you get in there too. Oh, absolutely. The more the merrier.
Got it.
Well, no, you're not done. Valerie's got it.
If it didn't get on social media, it didn't happen.
That is not wrong.
All right. That's awesome.
Good job.
Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you to Ms. Cotter. She's the reason why she got as far as she did, so thank you, Ms. Cotter.
Tori, your experience with buying the books afterwards is completely different than my experience with buying the books afterwards.
Katie, would you introduce her parents, because they're both integral to our community and our school district too, so.
Okay, and they were very supportive. And then this is Tori's mom, this is Biscuit, who's a teacher at Myatt, correct? And then Officer Biscuit, who does a ton of all your kids. He makes sure that they behave. And so they were great. They actually came along with us to the state competition, so it was really cool. We had, our fan club there. So there was other schools that had like 23 hotel rooms they got for all their students, and I'm like, I need one, please.
And I'm gonna tell you that Officer Biscuit was integral with working with Demetric on all of our safety procedures, so
Yes.
that's why I wanted you to have an opportunity.
Thank you, Mr. Callahan. Thanks. Appreciate that very much.
Okay, that brings us to our remarkable Ricebirds.
Well, and I'm gonna let Alicia take on this because we just had a blast going around and honoring our staff. It was really a great time, and so she was as bubbly there as she is right now. Look at that smile.
It was just exciting. It's so to see their reaction when we come in the room and tell them that they are the remarkable Ricebird, that not that we necessarily selected, but they've been nominated by their peers. Multiple people have said, here's all these characteristics that they exhibit on a daily basis, like not a one-time thing, like they do this all the time. And so we're able to go and tell them those things and acknowledge them for what they do. So our remarkable Ricebirds for the months of February and March were Megan Kalina, she's a counselor at, stand up, she was a counselor at Northside. And then Jadis Winter, she's a paraprofessional in the science department at Myatt. And we had a third one, it was Anazan. Unfortunately, she couldn't make it tonight, but she is as well one of our recipients, and so we're very proud of them. We're excited they're on our Ricebird team.
And I have to tell the board that one of the things you're gonna have to get me for next year when I do this is you gotta buy me an extra box of handkerchiefs, because I go through them every time I hand these out to these people. So it's.
That's awesome.
Oh, in the back.
Oh,
Did you get us?
And while they're here, I also need to, Amanda and Demetric go on all these trips with us, and we meet up with the administrators, and so I'd like to recognize the part they play in this. They're really integral in helping us determine those remarkable Ricebirds. in reality, Alicia kind of heads it up, but those two are just as critical to this process, so. Wave, Amanda, you're in the back. Demetric, you're up front, you gotta wave too.
Okay, that takes us to item number 4, the consent agenda. Consent agenda, according to Board Local Policy BE, a consent agenda is provided that it contains items of routine and or reoccurring nature that are grouped together under one action item. Board members have been furnished with background material for each of the items and listed as part of the consent agenda. Does anyone desire to pull one of the items in the consent agenda out to be considered on its own? There being none, I'll entertain a motion for the consent agenda. Have a motion by Ms. Smith, second by Mr. Dortick. All in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries unanimously. That will take us to item 6A, curriculum and instruction, and this will, discussion on possible action to modify the 2023-24 school calendar to accommodate the Wharton County Youth Fair date change.
Well, I think this is kind of a dual project between Alicia and myself. Alicia was the one whose department identified the original calendar, and at some point during the spring, we started having communication with the Wharton County Youth Fair because of a conflict. Their original date was going to be April 12th, and that falls right in the midst of STAR testing, so we can't do that. So we began having conversations with Cindy Blaha. Ed showed up at the Zoom. We brought in all the area superintendents from Bowling, East Bernard, Wharton, Louise, El Campo. We all communicated, and a decision was made to alter the Wharton County Youth Fair to the week of March 18th through 22nd of the school week. So it'll start the Friday before, actually, which is during our spring break, which is the 15th, and then it will go all the way through that next Saturday. What are they doing the week before? That's the
Spring break?
no.
There's the pageants and
The
the
pageants.
are the weekend before that.
Yes.
And Paul knows about the pageants, cause that typically conflicts with the prom weekend. So Paul's aware of that conflict, and he and his staff are working on that to see if they wanna make any modifications. But in essence, there was really no good time with Easter and all the other things. May was not a good date because of the heat and the animals in the barns, etc. So this was the date, which meant that Friday, which for us was going to be April 12th, has now been recommended to move to March 22nd.
I have a question. So, the prom, which is always a big ordeal if you move that thing around, is it, because it gets into spring sports, it gets into all in playoffs and all this kind of stuff. So will prom in El Campos right now, it's still gonna be the Friday before spring break, which would be the 8th?
Yes.
The Saturday.
The Saturday, I'm sorry.
Saturday the 9th, but the problem is it's gonna conflict. So part of the reason I understand that prom was moved was because of something called Skip Monday. So wouldn't matter which week of spring break, the one before or the one at the end, you could, because the kids don't come to school that following Monday.
Which is why Skip Monday works out good on spring break.
Right. So it would work either weekend for, don't just skip Tuesday?
No.
Oh, well, because we have that work day. I
That's
got you.
correct.
Okay.
So that's a Paul issue. The other school districts don't have a problem with this date, so
And just speaking on behalf of the fair, it was a nightmare to try to come up with fair dates because of Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo ends that, I'm looking at this, the 15th, the 17th.
Right.
And so, and like I was telling Mr. Callahan, it's gonna be a nightmare for our ag teachers in dealing with all of that. And, you know, cause you go from San Antonio Livestock, that ends, Houston picks up, and now our fair will be the week after. And so, I mean, there was nothing, because of where Easter falls this year, there was just nowhere else to put the fair other than that week.
Well, I'm glad it got worked out, but I will say that I have been on the board when the prom was bouncing around in the calendar, and you don't want to have that conversation, and it's the worst, that's the worst absolute thing that can happen. Dimitri, when he was principal, we've never had any arguments since then, and that's probably the best thing Dimitri's ever done, so.
But it would conflict with the fair, and I don't think that's fair to the students.
Like a sword.
No, I don't, it shouldn't
Yeah.
conflict, but it's a hard thing to sell. Anything, action to be taken here?
You have, if you're going to modify the calendar, someone would have to make a motion
I'll seek a
to,
motion.
I'm gonna modify the calendar to coincide with the Warden County Youth Fair.
Motion by Mr. Dubrack, second by Mr. Hobbits, all in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, same sign, motion carries unanimously. That takes us to business and operations. Consider and take possible award to replace the middle school boiler, in the amount of $99,750.
and Mr. Freeman is here to discuss. They took 3 bids. Mr. Wells worked on it also. The boiler's gotta be replaced, so, we don't have much choice. So they worked hard on this, and I would recommend, AMS, I will say, was the group that was originally gonna put in the HVAC units. And I think that the word that is out on the street is that they, did not get awarded that bid, and so now they're trying to get back into our good graces by providing some very competitive bids, which is what the bid process is all about. So we've had great success working with them in the past, there's not a problem. We just went with a lower price to install the air conditioning units, and now they're trying to make up for that.
Is that about like, cause that, the one that's there now is from when the school first opened, the original, yeah?
Thank you.
And that's about par for how long they last?
They typically last about 20 years, this one just didn't. How many years
Well,
is it?
It's, but it's close.
Pretty close.
When was that thing?
We moved in 11, didn't we?
Yeah, so that's only 12 or 13 years.
No, it was earlier than that, no.
Clay was in 6th grade.
Yeah, Chance was in 7th grade,
So I think you moved in
and Chance graduated in 07.
07 is when you moved in, cause you flooded in 04. And that's what
That's right.
prompted the bill.
16.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's not, I don't think it's outlandish for it to need to be replaced.
I move that we
regardless.
approve the award the bid to AMS for the middle school boiler for $99,750.
I have a motion by Mr. Dubrack and a second by Ms. Smith. All in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries unanimously.
I need to be able to tell my wife I made that motion.
Well, I guarantee you, cause they're talking about it.
I'll let her know to Brock.
Is it out, like now, like it's out?
We
Yes.
have alternates that we're working, it's not ideal. How about we say that?
And depending on delivery date, it might be something that gets not actually installed until the first week of summer. We might have to limp through until the end of the year just because of the availability of the materials.
Gotcha.
But it will be done before the start of the school year for sure.
Okay, that'll take us to closed session, is that right?
Yes, sir. And coming out of closed session, we do have some personnel things that, I think some of you are here to be here for, so I would recommend that you stay for those.
The time is now 7:20, and we will adjourn into closed meeting, closed session meeting under Texas Government Code 551.074, personnel matters. The time is now 8:25, and we'll reconvene in open meeting.
Make a motion that we approve Lachelle Lavati on a probationary contract for assistant principal at El Campo High School.
A second.
I have a motion by Mr. Dubrock and a second by Ms. Smith. All in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries unanimously. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
You've got the floor, you get to speak if you'd like, but you gotta come up here in front of the camera.
From what camera? Sorry, myself, don't you raise your hand up, folks. I'm very excited to get to join East Cascades administration staff and to get to join Fleener and Orsac and Panish at the high school, so I greatly appreciate it. I have a lot to learn, but I've got a good support staff. And thank you all for everything I've done.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lachelle.
Yeah.
Don't worry, if I don't know, I'm gonna ask. Thank you.
All right, I make a motion, we approve the 2023-2024 supplemental compensation package as presented.
Motion by Mr. Dubrock, second by Ms. Nahavitz. All in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries unanimously.
I move that we approve the 2023-24 stipend schedule as presented.
Motion by Mr. Dubrock, second by Mr. Irwin. All in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries unanimously. That brings us to the superintendent's report.
Board members and members of the community, we are making great progress on our safety and security measures. I know Mr. Wells is working hard on a few of the things, so I'll let him talk real quickly about those. But I'm gonna just briefly mention that we are at the next phase of our Guardian program. And so we feel very strongly that all of our staff will be trained by July 1st, and we will have things in place to implement the Guardian program for the beginning of the 2023-2024 school year. Okay. Dimitri, I know you've got a few projects. They just put in a foyer at the high school, and
yes, we got the foyer put in at the high school. Mr. Irwin knows that we got the gate at the at the stadium. So we finally got our gate installed at the stadium. Payphone systems are still in good shape. People are really enjoying that. And we're in the process right now of putting the door sensors on all of the exterior perimeters around all of the campuses. That will basically alert you if a door is actually propped open or left open. That's the phase that we're in right now.
and the H building door has been replaced on Avenue.
On
F.
Avenue F. Yeah, the whole frame.
The whole frame.
And the turnstile is on a timer, right?
So the turnstile, so it had a built-in timer in it, but it's gonna go actually onto our network to where it's actually gonna be programmed.
Okay.
So we'll be able to program it. But currently, Mr. File actually unlocks it in the morning, and well, he locks it in the morning and unlocks it in the afternoon, in the evening, 4 o'clock.
So it does provide security during the instructional day.
Yes.
And the gates are working really well. We have gates throughout. Coach Reef probably gets frustrated with the gates from time to time. But
Most lockdown school I've ever been at. That's good.
Put that up there.
Yep.
Is there anything else that has to be done over the summer, or are you gonna kind of wrap it up?
Well, actually, we'll start the installation of our vape sensors. That'll start to be in the summer project.
Be ready for school?
Should be ready for the school year. Just depending on the availability of parts. Seems like every school in the,
Order them all at one time?
everybody ordering them all at the same time.
All right. Personnel, report on,
we have put into the newspaper the step 1 process for facility upgrades. So those documents must be in by Thursday at 2 o'clock. Then we'll go to step 2, and send out some individuals who have met step 1, so I do need 2 volunteers to meet with us sometime once we get all the projects done, and typically that has been Mr. Irwin and Mr. Russell, but it could be any of you. We could also have, I think, David, you've done it also, right? So, unless anybody on the board has objection, I'll just coordinate with those 3, because then it wouldn't have to be a posted meeting, and we could go through the analysis and determine who would get step 2 of the project.
Anything else?
Not on the facility upgrade, but on teacher contracts, we're making great progress on teacher contracts. I know Mari is full right now at this point on your campus. Oh, you have 1 position.
Yeah, maybe 1.
And then Elizabeth, how are you doing?
I need about 5.
And so there's we continue to get applications, good quality applications. Coach, how you doing on your coaching hires?
We need, 2 middle school coaches, 1 boys, 1 girls, and then, girls coach at the high school.
And Amanda, how about you?
If 2 people pass their test, we will be fully staffed in special ed.
Mark? Still looking for drivers, right?
Always looking. Always.
But I can tell you, Mark has done a really good job of trying to coordinate drivers with other jobs within the district, and then be flexible with when they work and where they work, so. And I think Mr. Fleener has positions for Coach Reeve to fill. That's basically what we're looking for, and Miss Fellers is in the same boat. She has 4 openings, and 2 of those would be coaches, and then she has 2 other openings. So staff-wise throughout the district, Northside has a few openings, but I don't see Rebecca here, so that's where we are.
Time is now 8:33, and there being no further business on the agenda to come before this meeting, I now declare this meeting adjourned.
Congratulations, Ms. Lavati.
Thank you,